This is something that I've wanted to talk about for a very long time, but I've been afraid of the toxic fans who would attack me for my opinion, and that is that Final Fantasy XVI isn't turn-based, and why that's a bad thing. Now, I remember when the original Final Fantasy came out in 1988, and I gotta say, I was absolutely amazed. I mean, the gameplay was just amazing, and if there's one thing I love, it's scrolling, and that includes both scrolling through Twitter and scrolling through menus. Now, unfortunately, Final Fantasy XVI would opt for a more real-time battle system, and this was just so disappointing to me, because if there's one thing I hate in a game, it's too much gameplay, and I just preferred the battle system of the original Final Fantasy, because while I could play it, I could also scroll through TikToks. And as someone who loved Final Fantasy 15, I just have to say that Final Fantasy 16 absolutely missed. But let's be honest, it not being turn-based isn't the only problem with Final Fantasy 16. And I think we all know what that problem is. It's
racism.
Yes, that's right. Final Fantasy 16 is completely racist. And why is that? Well, it doesn't have any black people. And the racist Naoki Yoshida chose to exclude black people from the game. And as we all know, black people were very, very prominent in Europe. And this is just absolute historical revisionism, if you ask me. Now, something that truly makes me outraged is the fact that the bears in this game are all white. They're essentially slaves in the game. And as we know, the only slaves in history have been black people. And I just find this quite offensive, because it's just discounting the fact that black people have been slaves for centuries or even millennia, and replacing them with white people. And again, this is historical revisionism. And as someone with white guilt, I would rather be in the place of the black people as the slave, but the problem is, this game just ignores history and makes the white people the slaves, almost like implying the black people were the slave owners and therefore the evil people, when it was actually the white man that was evil. There is one thing that I appreciate, though, about Final Fantasy XVI, and that is that it smashes the patriarchy. There's one point in the game where Jill kills the patriarch of the Ironblood religion, and I just found this absolutely amazing, because not only does it smash the patriarchy, but it also smashes religion. And as someone who browses r/atheism on the regular, you know, this just made me feel really euphoric, and made me tip my fedora to Jill. I have to say that a character I can greatly relate to is Hugo Kupka, because as someone who has been cucked by my wife multiple times, I can just relate to his character on a very deep level, because I do love to watch, and I'm just glad they represented a character just like me in this game. And now to the final point of my video, that is, of course, the gay representation in Final Fantasy XVI. I am glad that there's finally a gay character in this series, because I don't see any character traits beyond who a character likes to fuck. Now, unfortunately, while I did appreciate the gay kiss scene, there is no scene of Dion thrusting his lance into his boyfriend's asshole. And that's just unfortunate to me, because as a lesbian, and as someone who makes his sexuality his entire personality, the fact that they would have this character have traits other than his sexuality is just disappointing. It's like, what's even the point? And now we've reached the end of this video, and other than the gay and cuck representation in this game that brings some meaning to my shallow existence, I just did not like it at all. I mean, for one, it's not turn-based, and two, it's just completely racist, and, you know, I just recommend to not pre-order this game at all, and if you do, well, I'm sorry to say, but I will cancel you on Twitter, and you will lose your job, you'll lose your house, you'll lose everything, and I will make sure to ruin your life for it.